Eshet Chayil. Eshet Chayil. What do you see in English? Eshet Chayil.
Woman of valor.
Oh, woman of valor, no?
Yeah.
הרבנית, עטרת בעלה, the crown of her husband, הרבנית החשובה והאצילה, the important Rebbetzin and אצילה aristocratic, I don't know what to say, אצילה, איך אומרים אצילה?
They understood. I cannot.
אצילה, but what anybody knows in Hebrew אצילה? It's like you would say, royalty kind of thing.
It's sort of something to do with her personality, like upright.
Yeah, no more than just very
Regal,
yeah. The Batya Kurtstag, Leah Shalom, the daughter of Rav Yirmiyahu Aloi, Eshet Chaver Rav Drom Africa, they still call me the head of the Bezdin of Drom Africa, so she is the wife of the
Bezdin.
Of the Bezdin, and she influenced from her. She had influence on from her spirit and wisdom on all her newer, and many enjoyed from her advice and support. She as generations of the of Yesharim Mevorachim, generation of children who are upright and blessed, Bnei Torah, sons of Torah, and Yirei Hashem, and fear of God. And then there is a date when she was passed away, 3rd of Elul. So 3rd of Elul was yesterday. Then the Shloshim, the 30 days, for me, for the husband, the 30 days of mourning. For the children, it still goes for mourning is 12 months. So we are going through this time of mourning.
Shlomo.
Rav, can I ask you a question? At the funeral, I seem to think, maybe I couldn't see, but it looked like only the children said Kaddish, not you. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Why?
Because this is what, strictly speaking, the Kaddish is for the children.
So you didn't have to say the whole month either.
No.
Really? So, like, if it's a sibling, you don't say Kaddish.
If you want to say,
children.
but strictly speaking, this is the children's obligation.
That's very interesting. I don't think any of us knew that. Did you guys?
No. Didn't ask also the Kriya. Your sons did the Kriya and you didn't do the Kriya the same in your jacket? Same reason?
You did do Kriya.
Kriya, you of course, you have all of us do Kriya. The difference is the children's Kriya is on the left side for where the heart is. The other relatives, including husband, is a right side. There is a difference. It's an interesting observation. Although and I think I told you the story many years ago, that somebody was murdered in Johannesburg. A young man, he was in charge of a storeroom in Carlton Hotel. And a black guy wanted to take a bottle from them and he wouldn't let him, so he killed him. Simple as that. And there was a little child, and his wife came to me after the shiva, and she was in tears and but crying and saying she felt that his parents, her in-laws, so to speak, stole from her the mourning. Like she said, I'm the wife, I'm the one them suffering and so on, and they like put her aside. And she was very upset. And I remember what I told her. I told her, you must know the relationship and the bond between husband and wife when they are married is the strongest bond that can be. But this can separate. How? Either they get divorced or one of them dies. The relationship and the bond between children and parents, this is unbroken. You never can break it. So, Seta, you have to understand this. You, at the moment, sure, you are mourning, but you will settle down, and in a couple of months, you'll find somebody else, and you will find another husband. Parents will not find another child. This was my words to her. And as I said, about 6 months later, I was invited to go to her wedding, to the wedding. And I think that probably I married them. This is Naiman. Yossi Naiman.
Yeah.
So in this light, one has to understand, yes, the husband and wife, the strongest as they are married and together. Otherwise, but the children, this is our special. So the dinim, the laws of mourning are more intense and longer for children than the relatives. And husband is just a relative. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us also learn, should be, and we said to be in the for schus for Leslie's mother, and still we can continue to have to the schus of Batya. And we are in Mishnah Yudalef 11 or 14 in some of the edition, which reads Arba midot bedeot. There are 4 types of temperament. Noach lechos v'noach l'tzot. He who is easily angered and easily pacified, Yatzav sedo b'scharo, his loss is cancelled by his gain. Kasher lichos v'kasher lirtzot, the one whom it is hard to anger and hard to pacify, his gain is cancelled by his loss. Kasher lichos v'noach lirtzot. If a whom is hard to anger and easy to pacify, is a chassid. This is a pious person. Noach lichos v'kasher lirtzot, a person whom is easy to anger And now to pacify, Rasha is a wicked person. So interesting, of course, we are talking about more, not before we were talking about certain traits in the personality, behavior, and so on. Here we are talking more about the nature, a person, nature and behavior of a person. We'll start with the two extremes, because when we see the two extremes, then we understand those that in between. There's two extremes. One extreme is what the Mishnah refers to him as a pious person. A person who is very, very to make him cross and angry. He doesn't take it when you do something that can make him angry. He's not cross, not angry. Sometimes, and Noach Lerzot, when he even gets angry, it's easy to pacify. He pacified himself quickly. This is a pious man. This is one extreme. The other extreme, the opposite. A person that easy getting angry very easily, and very difficult for him to be pacified. This is a Rasha. This is a wicked person. So, and we'll discuss this a little bit more. But what stands in between we have either a person who quickly gets angry, but at the same time, although he gets angry very quickly, he pacifies himself also very quickly. So then Yasar Efsedo V'Scharo, his loss is cancelled by his gain. Well, what is the loss? Of course, we are talking about angry is not a good thing. But the very fact that he can pacify himself quickly, then what stand against him, the anger, he can ride back quickly that he gets pacified. The other possibility, a person that hard to make him cross, to make him angry, but also he's not getting pacified very quickly. So of course here the anger is more lasting. So still is not pious and not Rasha, but this is what he is. The anger is a loss which is not easy to overcome the loss. So again, we see here, number one, we spoke, I think even last time, that there is extremes. On one end, the extreme, the pious, the other extreme, the other side is the wicked, and in between, we've got the other two. Now, it's interesting. So the all the subject of the Mishnah is, are we to view the whole thing of anger? The Mishnah doesn't say, interestingly, the best man or the pious man will be if he doesn't get angry at all. It doesn't say there. It said, takes him for granted that anger is part of a person's personality. And the question is, only I deal with that. What he's doing with this. But it seems to be that the Mishnah doesn't say a possibility that the best will be not to get angry. Apparently, this is not not so possible, some say. But even if it is in the nature of a person to get sometimes angry, seems that he's able to control it. And this is what he has to Mishnah wants to control it. Anger itself is a negative thing. The best would be if a person cannot get angry. But we said this seems to be almost impossible. There is a story that one of the commentaries says that somebody tried to draw. Of course, I think it's only talking about a theoretical idea, to draw the face of Moshe Rabbeinu, that shows that the face shows that it didn't have good midas, good personality traits. And he asked Moshe Rabbeinu said, yes, you're right. In nature, I was not born everything good. But I worked on myself to use and to improve myself. And this is really what I think the Mishnah wants to say. There are things that we cannot help it. Some people provoke you. The question, what kind of temper you've got. This is where we say, how to be angry or is it to be angry? Angry itself is not good. Sometimes we say, this is according to one commentary, says, no, sometimes you have to be stand up against something, not just to let yourself be washed up. You have to stand on your own rights, or especially when it comes that you have to stand up for God's honor or whatever, to protest. But even Moshe Rabbeinu, we find that he got cross a couple of times. So there is some, very seldom, and that anger is important, or is almost, you can't help it. But the question is, I will deal with it. Person should try to control, and to try to control not to get angry quickly. At the same time, if he does sometimes get angry, to try to get out of it quicker. This is the pious man. The pious man, you very difficult for him to get angry, but even if he does, he quickly gets pacified. On the other hand, that the Rasha who very quickly getting angry, this is very, very negative. Why? Because usually why a person gets angry, because this is a result of haughtiness. He gets angry because how can you do something to me? You are just at the insult or whatever. You feel very much for yourself as a great man, etc. So this is why we say, if a person he doesn't control his anger and he let it be angry very quickly, noach lichos, and means also that his personality, when he gets angry, he doesn't leave it, still continue, takes time for him to pacify. This is completely a personality which the Mishnah tries to call him a Rasha, a wicked. The person who, the Chassid, the pious man, is humble, and therefore he doesn't take too hard or gets insulted or to get angry, because he doesn't think much of himself. Also, he doesn't make other people angry because he considers the feelings and emotions of other person. But if sometimes it is something that makes him so angry, he realizes quickly that he overstepped and tried to pacify him. And this is good for his person, for his health as well. When a person keeps on getting angry and he's never relaxed, the whole time he's on the go of getting cross and angry, then he suffers. And not only that, he also being hated by society, because you can't talk to him. You say he gets inflamed, and so he became unsociable, and when he gets quickly angry, he doesn't realize when he can't control himself. He doesn't realize sometimes he says things which are terrible. Later on, he thinks about it, and he feels sorry for doing it, for saying it. So therefore, the Mishnah tries to explain to us, control your anger, and also be easy when it happens. Sometimes be easy to get over it.
Rav, you got less than a minute.
Okay, so this is where we can understand sometimes to get angry. A person, it's difficult for him to get angry, but at the same time, it's difficult for him to get relaxed. So it's not right, it's not the best, but okay, you live with this. Or the same, easy to get angry, but